Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the MK Productions podcast, aka episode 148, aka episode part two of the recap of 2024, where we're going to be talking about our best films, the 10 best films on both of our lists of 2024. But I'm not here alone. I'm joined here as usual by my co-host, Miss Flamingo, aka Kristen. How you doing tonight, Kristen?
I'm doing good. Mac, I have some good news for you. I was happy to send this to you earlier, but we are getting a third movie of Den of Thieves.
Yeah, I saw. So, I mean, did you watch the movie?
No, I
But
haven't.
yeah, I already knew the third movie was gonna happen. It was just cool that they finally confirmed it because the ending does set itself up for a third movie. So I'm like, yay! And
I'm
my dad,
glad you like it.
my dad sent it to me too. So because that's him and we've seen both movies, and I like Den of Thieves. Yes.
I was going to watch the first one the other day and then I missed it and I was going to DVR it and I just never got to. So eventually if I see it come across on TV or on streaming, I'm definitely going to watch it.
Hmm.
So yeah, but I am kind of interested in the sequel because I like Gerard Butler. So, yeah, but happy to see it's getting a third film. But are you ready for today?
Yes. So
I am
today,
so anxious for your not top 20, top 10. I have a
top
top
10,
20.
yes. Today we're going to be talking about our top 10 best films of 2024. This is new ground for me because I have not done the video yet. I actually just finished the list at the time of this recording, so the video will be coming out after this. This comes off the heels after our worst list, which, had the usual suspects, but this is blind. We do not know what each other's top 10 lists are, and Kristen has been saying she's been super scared about what my top 10 list is going to be.
You saw my top 10 because I posted it back at the beginning of the month.
Yes.
So I had a lot of movies that I saw that I was pretty happy with in 2024. So do you want to go first with your stuff or do you want me to go first and go off with my films that I want to acknowledge?
I'll start mine first. So I'll start off
Fabulous.
with the honorable mentions I got. So my honorable mentions, I got a ton of them. So bear with me. I have
Okay.
Blow, The Wild Robot, The Beekeeper, Bad Boys Ride or Die, Inside Out 2, Godzilla Kong New Empire, Conclave, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Challengers, Furiosa Mad Max, Ultraman Rising, A Quiet Place Day 1, Twisters, and Terrorizer 3.
Did I hear Flow?
Yes.
I saw that. I'm
It
so
didn't make the list
happy.
because it was too late. Pretty
I
much.
know, but I'm so happy you watched it. That's what makes me even happier. So, before you go into your top 10, I'll say my honorable mentions. I
Okay.
have Abigail,
Oh,
Speak No Evil, Saturday Night, Challengers, Roadhouse. Uh,
Roadhouse.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, I liked it. This was like, the popcorn, dumb movie, bad fun kind of film. And I just enjoyed the absolute heck out of it. The
Interesting.
memes of it all, of Conor McGregor in that film. Uh, Regardless what people think of it, I love Trap. I love Trap. M. Night Shyamalan's film.
Uh-huh.
Late Night with the Devil,
Well,
Heretic.
mm.
What do you mean Late Night with the Devil?
No, no, you'll see.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited. This is technically coming out. This next movie I'm going to mention is coming out at the time of its release, but it's called Love Me, and it stars Kristen Stewart, Stephen Yeun. I saw it at Sundance
Uh-huh.
back in 2024, and technically I, saw it in 2024, so I put it on there. And Long Legs. So those are my honorable mentions.
Hmm.
But I'm so anxious to hear your list. So give me your number 10 through 8.
Uh, all right. So, number 10 on my top 10 list, I'm going with a film that I did not like its first movie. I thought it was so dumb, but it had an effective marketing campaign and it made money. And the sequel came out, and wow, the sequel was much better than the first film. And I will die on the hill. And this was the film I took with my now fiance with me, and
Yay!
that is Smile 2.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to announce it. You announced it on a different podcast that you were getting married.
Yeah.
But yes, go into Smile.
Yeah, so Smile 2 was a very better movie because I don't like the first Smile. I think it's stupid. This one I don't think the second one is necessarily like a great film. I still think it's good. I think for a horror film, it's actually very effective. Naomi Scott turned in a fantastic performance where I'm like, Jesus Christ, you are better than I remember you being. Because I remember you were in Charlie's Angels and Aladdin. So you have not been in things I like. I'm like, holy shit, you're in something I like. And the only thing I have with Smile 2 is that it doesn't feel like a Smile movie.
That's fair
It
to
feels
say.
like a movie where they wanted to talk about a pop star having a crash out, but just said, let's just tack on Smile with this. Like, this feels like The Idol, but with horror elements.
Hmm. I liked it more too, and Smile was actually, I believe, in my significant other's top 10. So
Like, I feel like the horror is more effective in this one.
definitely. So the performances are better, especially from the lead performances.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am happy more people liked the sequel than the first one.
I will
So
say too, the ending was very predictable. Like we'll spoil it right here. So warning, we're spoiling every movie here. Pretty much she gets possessed at the end and kills herself in front of the entire stage. Which I figured when the concept of this movie was like, oh, she's the pop star. A lot of people kind of felt like they're gonna go the truth of the dare ending of like, well, it's gonna spread to everyone else because they witnessed someone die. So
I
you,
kind of like the fact that they show her dying and they show the audience and
I
their
like, yeah,
reaction. I
I
thought that
like
was
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
because I think what makes it better is because she pretty much stabs herself with a microphone, but you hear the thud, thud, done. I was like, oh yeah, I'm a sick bastard. And then you see the crowd screaming, you just see her smiling dead. I'm like, wow, that is actually effective. I like see because people. If you have a movie where you're showing violence, it's better to show it off screen. So that way the imagination can imagine what it looks like. That makes it better.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
Uh,
Smile 2 was a surprise for me. It was like one of the surprise movies I thought I was gonna hate it, but I was like, shit, all right, cool. All right.
yeah, me too. I really thought I was gonna be like, and with it, but it was better than I thought. I didn't love it as much as other people, but it was still good.
I agree.
Uh, but what's your number 9?
So number 9, this is a film that I thought was gonna be in my top 5 list, but I had to really look back at it. I still loved it, and you know how much I love this series, and that's gonna be the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. You know how much excited I was for this new trilogy. I was a little scared, but I love the motion capture. I love the special effects for it. I love who they get to cast as the apes, and this was a very good film. I like the story. I like how it sets up everything that we knew established from the original the 2010s trilogy, and it just builds upon it and it respects it because I was scared of like, well, we're gonna do our own thing, which they are, but it makes it more better to kind of help expand to where we get to from the original 1960s movie. And I thought the
Mhm.
performances was good. I forgot the guy who plays Proximus, the villain ape, but he was wonderful. You know, it's a wonderful day. Like
Yes, I
that
know
was
the guy because I liked the video of the two actors, the bad guy and what's his face?
William H. Macy.
Not William H. Macy. What's his face? I could be talking about the wrong ones because I haven't seen the film yet, but I watched like a lot of the press for it because I was just like interested to see them talk about the motion capture aspect.
Yeah, and
But what
it's
was
great as
the
well.
I can't think of him.
Yeah,
What's his
but
face? But Owen Teagan.
oh yes,
Owen Teague. I got to interview him over the summer for Tribeca, but and I mentioned Planet of the Apes, and I was excited to see it, but I didn't get to see it yet. So
such a great movie.
I'm sure his performance was good, and the what's the villain? I can't think of the villain.
It's Praxis. It's Praximus. That's
No,
the actor's name.
not the name, but the actor.
He's an Abigail. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know that. I just can't think of the actor's name. That's what I'm referring to.
Oh damn, because
But do you
he
know
he he has that face of like, damn, I've seen him because he was Blob in.
Kevin Durant?
Thank you. Yep. Because he was. I remember when I first saw him in X Men Origins. He was Blob.
He was also in Legion.
Oh yes, he was.
Yeah, now that I look it up, I'm like, Thank you. I remember that because I remember he was in Abigail, and I was just like, why can't I think of the name? This is like that's one of the actors where you're like, and when we go in our field, we're like, oh, what's that name? We've seen
Yep.
him in everything, but it's like not an exact household name, but it's like the name that we've seen multiple times that we just can't
Yep.
not name but face. But okay, excuse me. Excuse me. What's your
I'm not done talking about King of the Planet of the Apes. Hold up. But
Oh,
this
okay.
movie is like super great, has great messaging. Motion capture is still on point, and I'm really excited to see. It really ends of like, man, I want to see how the rest of this trilogy goes. So highly recommend it, and go check out the original trilogy too, the Caesar trilogy as well. I think those are some of the most that's the most underrated trilogy in the last 20 years we've gotten. But number 8 is a film that a lot of the films on this list of like, wow, this film could be shit, but it's like, oh, this is surprisingly good. This one is
Yeah.
Transformers 1.
Oh.
Transformers 1 is a awesome return to the animated G1. I know there was a lot of hesitation because Brian Tyree Henry was voicing Megatron, Chris Hemsworth was voicing Optimus Prime. Is gonna be a prequel, like an origin story of like, oh, they were friends but they turned enemies. Like, oh, we didn't like how you're going towards that realm, but then the story was very well done, and it really shows you of like, wow, you the writing in this movie is really, really strong, and it comes from people who really grew up with Transformers and know the source material. And Brian Tyree Henry, his role, his performance, Chris Hemsworth does a good job as Optimus Prime. Scarlett Johansson was good too, and Keegan Michael Key was funny as Bumblebee. But Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron, he should have been nominated for something because that man turned in an amazing performance. Seeing his descent from like the cool collective like D16 to being Megatron, that was amazing. Especially the part in the film where he's gonna drop the Optimus. He's like, "Don't." His eyes turn red. He says, "I'm done saving you." I'm like, oh shit! All right, like this. It's the fact that Transformers 1 didn't get nominated for a Golden Globe nor an Academy. That's some more bullshit. But that's me.
I'm surprised it didn't get recognized at all this award season because
It
it got such great praise from it.
but it didn't make any money though. That's the
I
problem.
know.
If it made
And
money, it probably would have been more. But I think the people really know. Like we could have taken out Inside Out 2 and put in Transformers 1 in that slot. Just like,
well, we're gonna have some kind of Disney movie in there.
well, not this year. They can have this. But that's my number 8. That's my number 8.
Love that. Okay. Well, I just want to add that's 2 Paramount movies that you had in your top like 10 I'm noticing so far with Transformers and Smile 2.
Yes.
All right, but moving into my list, I do want to acknowledge my top 20, and that was really quickly Terrifier 3, Twisters, Deadpool and Wolverine, Ponyboy, Lisa Frankenstein, A Real Pain, A Different Man, Furiosa, A Mad Max Saga, Amelia Perez, Nosferatu. Those were like in that order, my 20 through 11. And now let me dive into my top 10. Coming in at number 10 is a film that surprised me. We talked about it on the podcast back when Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo were at CinemaCon. And given that I named the stars, it's no surprise that it is Wicked. I was not expected to be blown away. I was really kind of hesitant about seeing this, but
Uh
then seeing everybody praise it, fans getting to see the film early and just loving it, and then being like what, why is there so much hype? Because of Ariana Grande, of course, because she is like the pop star, and the controversy this movie had, the fact that this was a huge play musical on Broadway getting I would have to say, better adaptation. I enjoyed the film more than the actual Broadway production. So I loved every single minute of Wicked. I thought the songs were great. The casting was on point. Sequence of dance, dance sequences were good. I thought the special effects were great. I liked seeing the journey of these characters. And this is a different take on Oz. It was great. It was wonderful. Can't complain too much about it. Other than that, it was just a tad long because it's like 2 hours and 40 something minutes. And I see why now that it was, cut into two parts and I knew exactly how it was going to end. So I'm excited to see how part two is going to complete this chapter, even though I've seen the play. I know how it's going to wrap up. But yeah, directed by John M. Chu. John M. Chu should have been recognized, I think, at this year's Academy Awards for his direction, honestly. But yeah, that's my number 10,
Nice.
Wicked. Coming in at number 9, this was such a sweet, sweet film. I saw this at Sundance, and I was thinking to myself, I saw some great stuff at Sundance last year. I mentioned Real Pain, Pony Boy, but one film stuck with me, and I kept recommending it to people.
Yep, Molly agrees.
Yeah, Molly agrees. And this woman deserved to be nominated for an Academy Award, and that is June Squibb in Thelma. Thelma is the queen. I love Thelma so much. She is a rock star. June Squibb is a rock star. June Squibb got her first leading role performance at like 90 years old. And she's stellar in it. The comedic elements are on point. It's inspired by a true event that happened to the director. They just kind of play with it around to make it more dramatized and, theatrical friendly. And it's basically a grandma getting revenge. And it's so funny. I watched it. I would have to say this is the movie I've seen the most in 2024. I think I watched it like 3 or 4 times.
Uh-huh.
So that's how much I loved it. I'm really disappointed that nobody recognized June Squibb because given the fact that she's been in Hollywood so long and she gives everything. She does her own stunts and she has great chemistry with all the people that she's with in this cast. Richard Roundtree, that's his final performance,
That's
Shaft,
right. Yep.
and he's great with Thelma. I absolutely adore this film. I got it for Christmas, and I got to show it to my husband's family, and they liked it too. It's available on Hulu, so I highly recommend it. I love Thelma, and it just makes me happy because the more I think about it, and just sitting here now, I think how relatable it is. Those who don't know, I'm going to just tell you all really quick. Thelma is about a grandma who gets scammed out of $10,000, and Richard Roundtree and her going on a motorized scooter and go on this journey to get the money back. And it's hilarious. And that's my number 9. Number 8 is my favorite book adaptation to screen I saw this year because I read a lot in 2024. And one of the books I read was by Claire Keegan, short novella, and it's called Small Things Like These, directed by Tim Mielentz. And I thought this film was beautiful. Nobody saw it. And if you loved Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer, then you're going to love him in Small Things Like These. If you haven't watched it yet, it's a beautiful film that looks at religion. Yes, we had Conclave explore religion, but this Small Things Like These takes it to a different level and stresses an important topic of the whatchamacallit, I'm forgetting what it was. The Roman Catholic Church in Ireland in the 80s. So I think if Cillian Murphy didn't win last year at the Academy Awards, even though he was going to win, I will say that he should have been nominated this year. His performance is unlike anything I've seen from one where the performance really lies on his eyes and his facial recognition, like, how he processes things and
Uh-huh.
what he sees. It's stellar. He's phenomenal. Emily Watson is also really good in this film. It's more of like, how do I describe it? It's a watch that you don't expect to be emotionally taken away by, but I was really taken away by the direction and The cinematography, the music is like interesting from that point. But yeah, I liked it a lot. Definitely my favorite watch. I actually got to watch this at the Montclair Film Festival. Really enjoyed seeing it there. And yeah, that's my number 8.
All right. So my number 6, 7, 6, and 5. I'll start with number 7. Number 7 is going to be Civil War, Alex Garland's movie. Before he said fuck directing, I'm going back to writing, and that's why we're getting 28 years later. So yay! But Civil War. Um,
Yeah, we did
uh,
talk about it on the pod too.
yeah, I liked it. I know a lot of people, there's some issues with it, and I still don't see how California, Texas, and Florida can form a coalition to fight. But I'm not, I don't know the world building here, but I thought the performances were great. I like Kristen Dunst's performance was really good. The supporting cast was great as well too. Definitely had some moments of tension, especially with Jesse Plemons. It's probably the one scene that a lot of people who haven't even seen the movie know is when Jesse Plemons is like, or like, where are you from? Are you American? I'm like, oh shit, okay. And the fact he did that as a favor for his wife, Kristen Dunst, that's kind of cool though. It's definitely a very it's shot well. Like the cinematography is actually really good, and they really incorporate the photography aspect into making the film like more dynamic, especially with the shots when they come across a firefight. It's pretty cool. I thought it did a good job. Did you like Civil War?
I thought it was good. I think it's my favorite Alex Garland film
You didn't
that
like
I've.
Ex Machina?
No, I'm not a huge. I think it's okay. I think it's overhyped. Um, I don't love it as much. I was kind of predicting everything that was going to happen when I was watching Ex Machina, and I was just
Uh-huh.
like, this is going to happen.
Did you
I'm
not
so
like
much so.
Men?
No, I hated Men. I think that was the worst one. Oh my
Damn.
god.
So this is
Uh,
this is just mid ground for you.
yeah, I'm seeing like I was like, all right, this is the best one, and that's why I probably like makes sense because of his direction with that, even though his stronger I think aspect is writing, and that's why we're getting all the 28 you know 8 days and
Years and
years now. So
which
and that's
should have
why
been
those are the better ones. Days is better.
should have been. I like 28 weeks later.
So,
I
but
think
yeah.
28. I should have been 28 months later, but just neither here and there. Well, it took 28 years to get the damn sequel in the first place, but yeah, I like Civil War. I wish we got more Nick Offerman because I want to make more Ron Swanson as president jokes, but it is what it is. Number 6 is Sonic 3.
I'm not surprised. I know that was going to come in somewhere.
I can't believe we're in a timeline where the Sonic movies are now the gold standard for video game movies because you remember when that first trailer dropped for Sonic in 2019. Oh boy.
Boy, did everybody turn on Paramount. They were like, what in the world are you doing?
Which I still think they did that on purpose to get the movie
Okay.
talked about. That's what I think. But if the first one did well, second one we got Idris Elba as Knuckles. It's like okay, it really helped Jim Carrey launch back in the mainstream because he's Doctor Robotnik, which is like the perfect role for him. And they're
Yeah.
like, hey, we got the third movie. How about we have Keanu Reeves with Shadow? Everyone's like, wait, what? Like, how are you getting these big name actors? Like, not even in the MCU. Like Keanu's like, I don't want to do the MCU. I'll do Sonic though. It's like, wait, what? Like, okay, and he was awesome as Shadow. Like, it's the perfect role for him to play, like because Shadow's very stoic and very like man of action instead of words, and I think Keanu did it perfectly in this movie too. And Jim Carrey as the two Robotniks was just awesome.
That's the movie that's really paying him. He doesn't need to do any other work. He's just like, all right, I'm just going to do the Sonic movies for the rest of my life.
Well, he keeps saying I'm retiring, and he's like, I'll come back again. All right.
Yeah, there's that Sonic money is calling him.
They did. I
So
did like the joke. It's like studios run out of money. It's like studios run out of ideas, so they have the actor play two roles. And I was like, okay, that's funny. And then now we're getting the fourth one in 2027. So I'm really excited.
it's coming really soon. Gotta watch it
I'm
because
just
I
happy.
love Keanu. We have our passion for him here. Um,
They should get Nicolas Cage's next movie.
oh my god, if they do, then I'm gonna binge watch everything, like including the Knuckles series. I still haven't watched that yet, and I do want to watch that.
The Knuckles series is very funny.
Yeah, I do. I like Idris Elba and just seeing him fit into the universe and with, his voice as the little Sonic, not Sonic, but him as
Knuckles.
Knuckles, running around like a little character running around, just as funny,
I
because I
think
picture this buff guy and then he's playing this little hedgehog running around.
it's just great, and it's just so. This is like we were in the dark ages with video game movies, but the Sonic movies have really shed like, hey, these is what video game movies can be like, and it makes me so happy. Can't wait for Mortal Kombat 2. Not really, but I can't wait for Sonic 4.
We're
Um,
getting Mortal Kombat.
Number 5 is Nosferatu.
Wow.
So I saw Nosferatu late, but I still liked it. But I think there was 4 movies I enjoyed more. I think it's a good return to old school type building like monster movies. Like this is Robert Eggers' style. He recently said, "I'm not making a movie in modern day. That's not my style," and I agree. I think him making these types of like period horror movie pieces work.
Gothic horror.
Yeah, it works perfect. With Nosferatu, the pacing was great, the horror was amazing, the performances were great. The fact that it was not nominated for anything at the Academy is some bullshit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but this was such a great movie, and I'm a fan of the Universal Monster movie, so I'm so happy that he's probably going to be doing. I forgot what else he's doing. He's doing another movie, and
He's
I
doing another movie with Focus Features.
yeah, I forgot what it was, but if he can do more monster movies like this, please, yes and thank you. Yeah, Nosferatu was awesome, but yeah, it's number 5.
Excellent. All right. Coming in. I would have put Nosferatu high, but then I was like, I got to put some love in here because I do love films like my number 7 pick, The Fall Guy, directed by David Leitch. Ryan Gosling, my favorite Hollywood superstar. He can do it all. And he plays a stuntman in The Fall Guy and falls in love with Emily Blunt. David Leitch, who directed Bullet Train. We did the watch along here and we talked about The Fall Guy on the podcast. I love this film. I think it's hilarious. I think the stunt work is incredible since it's a love note and acknowledgement piece to the stunt community. It's also a love letter to filmmaking, just everything involved with this film from the little details and the casting with the supporting of, Hannah Waddingham, uh, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Everybody's like stellar in this film. The direction here is great from David Leitch. He's just proved himself to him, directing, not directing, from working in stunt work, then growing into his career directing. It's insane. The man has great imagination and just a wild brain, I must say, to tell, creative stories, whether it be adapting, a project like Bullet Train to, you know, starting the John Wick franchise, and now directing Fall Guy. It's great. I really was so pleased with Fall Guy. I just loved every single minute of it. But yeah, Fall Guy. Number 6, the movie you mentioned earlier. I've been praising this movie ever since I saw it. This is another film I saw at the Montclair Film Festival, and that is called Flow.
Yep.
And it's taken over by award season. This and Wild Robot have been battling it out for the awards. I am obsessed with Flow. I love the animation here, the way the story is told. It's simple, it's effective, can resonate with kids, families, great chemistry. There's zero dialogue, like no talking animals. The animals just rely on their interactions. And I love all the characters here, the golden retriever to the capybara to the lemur, to the black cat, and the crane. Just love them all. Beautiful, beautiful animation. And yeah, love Flow. Simple, effective, made me cry multiple times. I love it. Can watch it over and over again. Coming in at my number 5 is a film we also talked about here on the pod with our friend, also AJ. I was so happy to get him on to talk about Hitman, directed by Richard Linklater.
What's in your top 10?
I loved it. And I was like, this deserves to be in my top 10 because I watched, I showed this film to my family at Christmas and they really liked it. And watching it again, it even made me happy because, first of all, I love Glenn Powell in this role. I think it's his best role to date. Regardless what you think of him in like Screen Queens or in Twister, I think this just shows he is like the Ryan Gosling. He is like the Tom Cruise. He is the Hollywood it boy actor. He can write because he co-wrote the film with Richard Linklater,
Mhm.
and it's stellar. Adrian Arjona is great with him. It's a cute comedy love story. I really did enjoy it. I'm happy it was released on Netflix. I would have loved to see this in theaters, but I know it probably wouldn't have done well. But I just cannot deny how entertained I was, and the fact how Glenn Powell also made this film his own and just made him shine. It's great. But yeah, I really love Hitman a lot. So that is my number 5.
Okay. Hitman's an interesting choice, but I'll leave it there. My number 4, I got Deadpool and Wolverine. Now I know this was a lot of people's number 1, but like I said, it was a fine film. It was fun. It was energetic. It was fun seeing Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman finally on screen together in Wolverine and Deadpool. I always say with these types of movies, it's cameos for the sake of cameos, and I kind of feel like that's the same way here. It's like, oh, look at that! It's like remember, it's like every time Marvel's at a crossroads, they're like, all right, we need a cameo movie. So we had
Bring
no
in the cameos.
Yep, we had No Way Home. We had, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, now Deadpool Wolverine, but it's still fun. Really don't know how it's going to connect to the MCU. I don't know if the rumor's true that Hugh Jackman is going to be back in that variant. So it was a fun movie, made $1 billion, but we still don't know what's going to happen.
No, not at this point.
But I think Deadpool Wolverine, it was still fun though. I had fun with it. I
It's
thought,
a fun movie, and
uh,
that's why it was in my top 20. I do think though it's like the same stuff we've seen from Marvel, even though I love it, like love it. But uh, it's a great film,
I
great
think this,
action film.
considering the past Marvel movies we had in 2023, this was the most, this is the best one we've had
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
bit.
it's the best one.
Yeah, so we'll see what this year Marvel has in store because this was like a nice little pick me up. Yeah, this year's gonna
Yes,
be the real make or break year.
we'll see
Number
how it goes with Captain America: Brave New World.
yeah. Number 3, I got Dune Part 2.
Okay,
Like I took me a while to watch the first Dune movie. I loved it. I said I gotta see the second Dune movie. Didn't get to see it in theaters, unfortunately. I was very preoccupied. Watched it on Netflix. Fucking loved it. I was like, holy shit! Can't really tell which one I like more. That's the thing.
really?
Yeah, I'm
Because
like
everybody's like, I like the first. I don't like the first one as much, but the second one is great.
the second one.
So
I like it because it feels more grandiose.
it is more grandiose.
So
Definitely so.
I loved it. I think it's a shame that Denis Villeneuve did not get nominated for Best Director.
Hmm.
They continue to disrespect him. I think Dune 2 has a good chance to win some technical awards. I didn't really like Austin Butler as the villain because I kept thinking of Elvis every time I see him. So I was like, oh no.
That's what everybody's gonna say now is Elvis. You can't look past Elvis.
Well, he's gonna be Patrick Bateman in the American Psycho remake, so it's gonna be Elvis
It's
killing people.
alleged.
Alleged. But no, I like Dune Part 2. I can't wait to finish reading the books, and I'm excited for this third movie and what we're gonna do, how this because they're not done because they're gonna make a few more
No.
movies.
I believe so. Well, they renewed Dune Prophecy, the
Oh, the
Max
show.
series. Yeah,
Yeah,
they were, which I didn't watch yet.
I've watched some episodes. It's all right.
Yeah, like it didn't make me excited like how the Dune movies were. Like even though it doesn't really have the original cast, but I'm just like I don't know. Like it didn't excite me. Didn't grab my attention.
Yeah,
So, but was that your number 2?
3.
2. Okay, 3. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Late Night with the Devil.
Wow. Okay, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
This movie is great. I remember I saw the trailer on Facebook. I was like, damn, this looks great. And what's the actor's name? Because he's a character actor.
David Mishgavin or something. I
Very
can't. I can't say his name. This is like the same thing with the Kevin Durant situation. Durant.
Very great character actor. We've seen him in a lot of stuff. So this is the first time we've ever seen him like in a leading role, and he did amazing. And the concept of it, I love the aesthetic of it being a 70s talk show and them doing this like live exorcist and just the creepy stuff. I thought it was a fantastic film. I think it was one of the most underrated horror movies of the year.
People liked it. Now, I got to ask you because we never got to talk about this, but the AI that happens in the film.
Well, we're in an age now where you just have to expect it at this point. Like I hate to say that, but like we're in the age now where of like there's gonna be some AI chicanery in every film we watch. And I hate it. Like I was
it's
like,
gonna be done with posters. It's gonna be done with that. Do I appreciate it? And would like to see like an artist do it, yeah, but it's gonna show up, it's gonna happen, and I kind of learned to accept that.
I kind of wish this movie got released on VHS, like a special edition, because this feels like
I'm sure you can find it.
But this, oh, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm sure you can find it like as a VHS thing, because I could have sworn I saw something with a VHS thing. Like I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure they've done it, like a release of it.
I like it because it reminds me of this indie film. It's called the WNHF Halloween Special.
Okay.
It's this like this indie film where they filmed the movie where it's like this news broadcast. They went to a haunted house and did a seance, and it was like a horror movie in like a found footage format, but like they formatted the tape where it's like a regular newscast, but it's like a horror movie too. That's what this movie reminded me of, and I love that. If you have not seen the WNHF Halloween special, please give it a watch. And give Late Night with the Devil a watch too. That's why it's my number 2. That's gonna shock a lot of people.
Yeah, cool. I'm happy to hear it made your top 5. I do want to acknowledge something. One film that probably would have made maybe close into my top 3. I saw it late. Sing Sing with Coleman Domingo. Oh my God, is that stellar? So I just want to acknowledge that real quick because I'm looking at my top, 5 right now, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm so happy where it is, and I'm thinking, man, I wish I got to talk about Sing Sing on here because I love that. But I'm going to talk about a different movie that's nominated for an Oscar, and that is my number 4 pick, The Substance.
Nice.
I love this film so much. And this is a film with Margaret Qualley, Demi Moore, and Dennis Quaid. It's you could say it's a new body horror classic. I think now that more audiences have been experienced, have been like experience is not the best word, but exposed to it, and the way that it takes on inspiration of different films, like the acknowledgement of The Shining with the the tiles on the floor or the carpet, but acknowledgement to other films. This was a unique film. It looks at aging, which is the big thing, your imperfections, and I was very surprised. It's wild, it's crazy, and everybody is stellar here. I think I don't remember the grade, if I gave it like an A- or an A. I think at this point, I should have given it an A plus because that's how much I love it. But yeah, I love The Substance. Coming in at my number 3 is J.T. Molyneux's Strange Darling, which is a film I was so surprised about. This is a film I did not see the trailer for. I went in completely blind. It's a non-linear story, and it's told in 6 chapters, and you start at one chapter. You don't technically start at chapter 1. You start at a different point in the film, and you think one way is going to happen, but it totally flips the script. It's a great cat and mouse game with Willa Fitzgerald, Kyle Gallner, however you want to pronounce his name, who is also in Smile and Smile 2. He is stellar here. He is the horror king right now. I want to say he's one of the horror kings, and he does a really great job here. I wished Willa got acknowledgement for this role, and same with Kyle. And I got to acknowledge that Giovanni Ribisi, the guy from like films like Ted,
Yep.
he is the cinematographer in the film, and oh my gosh, he's a stellar cinematographer. This film is like pure, like remind me of like a found footage film where the way you come across it. Um, it's unique, it's clever. I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm happy I didn't see the trailer. Don't watch the trailer. Just take my word and say that this was like, I think, the perfect film for, uh, or I should say, the perfect thriller for 2024.
Oh,
So very happy with it. But coming in at my number two was something I was not expected to be surprised by again, but that is Dune Part 2. I was anticipating this film. This was like the Star Wars event for, like, how people in the 80s were like, oh my God, I got to be there when Star Wars was released. I
yeah.
can say that for Dune. I love Dune Part 2. This probably would have been my number one pick. Denis Villeneuve's direction is stellar here. But nothing different from you. But I will say I like Austin Butler here. I think Timothée Chalamet gives his best performance. I like the supporting cast a lot. Zendaya gets to do more here. I love seeing Florence Pugh, whatchamacallit, Christopher Walken, and the surprises and turns that this film takes. It's so cool, and it's a vast improvement from the rest in peace David Lynch take.
Yeah.
Much better, definitely more entertaining, definitely has more substance. Denis, you did it. I give my immense applause to you, and cannot wait to see what he does in the next one with Dune, whatever it's going to be. All right, are you ready for your number one?
Yes. So my number one film, you already said it. It's The Fall Guy.
Really?
Yes, The Fall Guy was my favorite film of the year. I loved it. I love the meta-ness. I love the stunt. I'm a big proponent of stunts. The fact that we still don't got a stunt category in the Academy is stupid. They did a lot of work and effort. It was fun. I loved Ryan Gosling's performance in this movie, and I love the soundtrack because I have it on Spotify. I listened to it on the way to work. I'm like, oh yeah, and
The
it's just
soundtrack is stellar.
I love this. This is probably I would say like this was my favorite movie of the last year. It was so fun. I loved it.
Something I didn't get to mention, it's the best film that uses a Taylor Swift song. I
Yeah.
have to say, the All Too Well 10-minute version, and them sing with Ryan singing in the car. Oh, I love seeing that. It was like my two favorite things, film and Taylor Swift come together, and then Ryan Gosling just sitting there and just singing it is just, to me, felt like seeing I'm just Ken again. Like, have Ryan Gosling singing just like in any film. I
And
love
like
him.
I liked Aaron Taylor Johnson as this. He plays the spoiled action guy really, really well, and he's really funny and like Everett Winston Duke, I love this character. He was like Ryan Gosling's right hand man. He's like, yeah, studs boy, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh
Oh,
my
he's
god.
so good.
And I love the romance in this movie because it's like, oh, it's kind of funny because it's like, no, Emily Blunt has a reason to be mad. This man disappeared in her life for like for years. It's like, I'm sorry, I didn't want you to see me. Like, it makes sense, and you're like, okay, that's perfect. And they use the comedy, especially the part where they're like, we need another take of you being blown up on fire on the rock. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that's funny, and it kept going. And I like the ending where like calling Jason Momoa. It is. I was like, I want to see that movie they were filming. That would be interesting to
That
see.
would be great. It's just a shame it didn't do well at the box office.
I
And
know
I
it
was
was
like,
so good.
the
That was my
per
favorite summer movie.
it was same. And the way that they like did the whole marketing campaign with Ryan, oh, it was stellar. With him going on SNL, him doing the different stunt work with the premiere when he went, and they did the stunt guy, like the fake Ryan doing the thing across the stage. they were really promoting this movie, and I felt bad that this didn't do well. And I really loved it. I'm glad it was your number one pick.
Yes.
But I will also add it was the year for 2024 for Aaron Taylor Johnson because Fall Guy, Nosferatu, but you can say whatever about Craven, but he was in 3 movies. So
He was
that's a
in
good
3
thing.
movies.
He was in 2 good ones.
He was in 2 movies this year.
Yeah. But yes, I'm going to end with my pick. My number one choice. And that is my favorite, I shouldn't say my true favorite, but one of my favorite New Jersey filmmakers, and that is Sean Baker's Anora.
I figured that
I
was gonna be your number one.
loved Anora. This was the unexpected ride that I went on mentally, and I loved it. Just the Pretty Woman meets, Italian mafia movies, but there's, the craziness of the story, and Mikey Madison is stellar, and Sean Baker did a excellent job directing this film. I loved every single minute of it. I was invested. I felt hooked. I was blown away with the cinematography, the way it was written, the performances all around. But this is Mikey's film. The fact that she starred in Scream and Sean said, I saw you in that. This is your role. And just the outrageousness this film is. It's got great pacing. I didn't want the film to end. And it's got a rootable character who Mikey plays, and Nora, or you can also refer to her as Annie. But yeah, I loved every single minute of Nora. But if you haven't seen Nora yet, go check it out. I am one of those critics that loved it like everybody else. I feel like I'm not the only one who put it in like their top 5,
Uh,
of the year because how stellar it is. And it did really well at Cannes, what it has to say about the current state of culture, and I guess you know people who are in that form of entertainment, and they need rights, they need pay, they need money. So yeah, and this adventure that she goes on, it feels like a Cinderella tale but turned upside down,
so I'm surprised there was a film missing from your list.
which is what
What happened to Amelia Perez?
Amelia Perez was in the top 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so was Nosferatu. Nosferatu, like you had mentioned, was in my top 20. It was so close to coming in at number 10, but I was like, I need to give it to Wicked because I wanted to put one musical, and I was like, I had fun with Wicked, despite how long it is. And now it's the most Amelia the Perez is the most hated nominated Oscar nominee. The wild journey this film has gone on.
Literally, this is like it's a, so we'll see what happens, but
Yeah.
maybe next year we'll explain. Well, maybe you expand it to 20 because it is hard to do 10 sometimes.
Yeah. I'm surprised you did not mention Furiosa.
It was in my honorable mentions.
I know, but I was thinking since we talked about it, we both also really enjoyed it.
It
It was
wasn't.
not in your top 10. I thought it
It
was
was.
going to be.
It wasn't. Listen, Furiosa was good, but it was not. It was like number 12.
I get that.
Because listen, Bad Boys Ride or Die and Godzilla only made the list, so it was a very tight number this year.
Yeah. I also wanted to say I also saw a movie you wanted to see. I saw September 5th.
Yeah,
September 5.
I can't find it. They pulled it from my local theaters.
Yeah, it's good. I recommend you eventually check it out. It's nominated for Oscar. It's a very Oscar baity movie
Trying
due
to
to the fact it's nominated.
trying to
Not
find it.
for
I was like, Jesus Christ. Because like
yeah.
they pulled it from they had it in the theaters the week before, and then they pulled it. And it was like Wolfman was coming out. I was like, where's the movie? And the only closest theater is playing is like an hour away.
Damn.
So I'm like, I gotta find a way to watch. It was a movie I was I wanted to see like bat opening night.
I enjoyed it. I think you're gonna like it when you eventually see it. I still have like 1 or 2 movies I do want to see. That didn't make my end of the year list. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with my list. I felt like we talked about a lot of the films that made like our top 10 on the pod, which is great.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a very solid year, better than 2023. And yeah, I'm really excited to see this year. We already got a few contenders. Den of Thieves 2 sits at number 10 on my list this year, and we'll see Wolfman and see what the other films hold in store.
Definitely see Companion. I saw that already and loved it.
Ah, yes, the sex doll movie.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna come out of you at some point.
Oh no, Welcome to My World. Every time I'm like, hey, I like Shape of Water. Or is that the movie where the lady has sex with the fish? Like, no, it's not just that, damn it. It's a great movie. Like when I told my fiance, I was like, I want to see Companion. And she goes, oh, the sex doll movie? I'm like, no, it's not just a sex doll.
I didn't even like look into that because I saw the one trailer that is like a minute
Uh-huh.
long, like
That's
that
the
was
one I kept
released.
seeing. Yeah.
I didn't even look anything beyond that because I wanted to be so surprised because I liked the cast and just seeing Jack Quaid and knowing the fact that this was coming from
Barbarian.
Barbarian. I wanted to be so surprised that I avoided everything and just knowing what it was like. And my shock was like the way things were happening in that film. I was like going,
So
same way
uh,
I was like with Terrifier 3.
So I will add this and we'll end it. There are two movies I'm actually curious to see this year. The first one is Dogman because I grew up with Captain Underpants and I know that
Mm-hmm.
Dogman in that universe is Harold and George's character that they made. And I
Mm-hmm.
like the animation. It looks really good. I also want to see Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
That looks good, but I think Dogman looks awesome because I've wanted a sequel to Captain Underpants, but I thought it was a great movie, and this is the closest we're gonna get, I guess.
My anticipated, I'll say my two. I will say Mickey 17. I could say Companion, but I already saw that. I don't want to say Sinners, but I will say, because I love fun and excitement, I'm excited for Nobody 2.
Oh yeah, that's right, August, right?
Yep, it's coming out my birthday weekend, so it's the perfect time. And
Let's go.
that was like one of my like in my top like 10 when we were going through that rough time with 2020 and 2021,
Uh-huh.
and the fact that it still plays in my head of give me the kitty cat bracelet,
The motherfucker.
you know that scene just replays in my head. I'm excited to see what Bob Odenkirk's adventures are going to take him in that you know
Oh god, I'm really excited. And we got RZA coming back and Christopher Lloyd. That's gonna
story.
be awesome.
Yeah, but those are I would say my top two at the right now. I think I have more that I'm excited about, but I'm going to say those two.
Yeah, but that's gonna do it for this episode. We want to thank you all for listening. Our next episode, we're gonna be reviewing Wolfman.
We are. Ooh, scary. I think that was scarier than the film.
Oh,
I've seen it already. I don't think you have yet, right?
I am not, but I've read, not spoilers, but I've read about it, and seeing that the seats are becoming more and more available as I look for tickets, that's very concerning to me.
Oh, but then after that, it's going to be our Oscar special with special
Yeah, we're gonna
guests.
be putting our predictions and see if we're right. I think we did pretty well last year with our predictions.
I don't even remember. I
We
just
should
love
start
that.
tallying these to see what our prediction rate is.
Yeah, we should, but maybe we'll do that this year.
Yeah, because we want to see if we're Nostradamus. We predict these things, but let us know down in the comments below. What did you think were some of your favorite films of I almost said this year, 2024? What were some films you thought what are some of the films you're excited for this year? Simple as that. I have a stuffy nose. I really can't talk straight, so I'm sorry. But until next time, I've been Mac. This has been Kristen, and you've been listening to the M&K Productions podcast. Peace.
Bye, and thanks to our patrons.